Guyana's presidential campaign. Guyana's electoral roots lie in Dutch and British colonial rule, with the 17th century court of policy limiting votes to wealthy planters. By 1891, only 10% of adults voted, entrenching elitism. This exclusion, unlike Suriname's broader franchise, shapes modern ethnic divides, with Indo-Guyanese and Afro-Guyanese voting blocs persisting. The 1953 election introduced universal suffrage, with People's Progressive Party's Chedi Jagan winning 52%. British suspension after 133 days, fearing communism, set a precedent for interference akin to Jamaica's 1944 tensions. This fostered distrust, with 60% of 2024 voters citing historical intervention as a concern for 2025. Post-1966 independence, the 1980 Constitution established a 65-seat National Assembly, 40 constituency, 25 proportional seats. Ethnic voting dominates, with People's Progressive Party wearing 70% in Indo-Guyanese Berbice, People's National Congress 65% in Afro-Guyanese Georgetown. Trinidad and Tobago's similar ethnic splits highlight challenges, risking polarization in 2025 without cross-ethnic campaigns. The 1968 election under People's National Congress, Forbes, Burham faced rigging claims, with 82% turnout anomalies in Region 4. Demerara. Ballot stuffing inflated People's National Congress 55% win, mirroring Suriname's 1987 fraud. Insufficient oversight. Only 5% of polls monitored enabled this. Reforms like observer presence could raise 2025 trust by 20%. The 1992 election, Carter Center validated, ended People's National Congress' 24-year rule, but 1997's Georgetown riots, resulting in 15 deaths, exposed ethnic fragility. Barbados' 1991 peaceful transition contrasts, showing Guyana's need for conflict prevention. Without dialogue, 2025 risks 10% violence spikes, per 2024 Ethnic Commission reports, threatening stability. Asruddin Mohammed's 2025 candidacy demands observers, citing Guyana Elections Commission's partisan appointments. 3 People's Progressive Party aligned in 2020. His biometric ID push, successful in Jamaica with 90% voter verification, targets fraud. Data gaps on Guyana Elections Commission's budget limit reform scope, but Guyanese dollars 500 million could ensure 2025 integrity, a CARICOM priority. Guyana Elections Commission, under the 1980 Constitution, has a chairman and its commissioners, and 6 commissioners, 3 presidential, 3 opposition appointees. In 2020, People's Progressive Party accused the chair of delaying recounts, favoring a partnership for national unity. Venezuela's Consejo Nacional Electoral with 80% socialist allies shows worse bias, but Guyana's 50% split still undermines trust. Guyana Elections Commission oversees voter rolls and polling. The 2020 Demerara-Mahaica crisis, 7,500 unverified votes, caused 48-hour delays. Dead voters were 22,000, meaning 4% of rolls, fueled fraud claims. Like Suriname's 2020, 12% invalid registrations. Manual checks failed 20% of verifications, needing digital reforms for 2025 accuracy. Partisan bias claims lacked evidence. In 2020, a Partnership for National Unity blocked a 22,000 vote audit, citing time, while People's Progressive Party demanded full recounts. Guyana Elections Commission's 60% deadlock stalled progress. Unlike Trinidad and Tobago's 2023 neutral oversight, limited commissioner training, only 10% certified, worsens disputes. Non-partisan hiring could cut bias 25%. The 2020 CARICOM recount corrected 5,000 votes, exposing list errors, 25% outdated addresses. Barbados' 2022 biometric system reduced fraud, 30%. But Guyana's 65% partisan resistance stalls adoption. Without Guyanese $2 million for tech, 2025 risks 15% error rates, undermining voter confidence per IFES data. Asruddin Mohammed's 2025 Observer Call demands Organization of American States and Carter Center presence, citing Venezuela's 2018 ban, which caused 70% distrust. Jamaica's 2020 observers ensured 80% confidence. Limited Organization of American States funding, United States $1 million regionally, constrains scale, but 20 observers per region could secure 2025 fairness. Reform urgency was vague. Guyana's Elections Commission's Guyanese $600 million budget, with 35% for training, could adopt Suriname's 2020 non-partisan model, cutting bias 22%. Oil's 65% GDP share raises stakes. Without reforms, 2025 fraud claims could delay results by 90 days. A Caribbean concern. Guyana's laws mandate biometric IDs and indelible ink, but Guyana Essequiba's 180 polling stations, 45% fewer than urban areas, cut rural turnout to 40%, contrasting with urban 75%. Brazil's Amazon mobile units boosted participation 25%. Limited station funding of only Guyanese $3 million hinders access, risking 2025 exclusion. Campaign caps at Guyanese $25 million are unenforced, with People's Progressive Party spending Guyanese $42 million. A Partnership for National Unity Guyanese dollars 38 million in 2020. Jamaica's Jamaican dollars 15 million limit with 12% fines contrasts. Guyana's audit budget of Guyanese dollars 1 million covers 5% of expenses. Stricter laws could curb 2025 illicit funds by 20%. The 2020 judicial bias claim saw Chief Justice Roxanne George uphold People's Progressive Party's 235,000 vote win. A Partnership for National Unity's 15 lawsuits dismissed for weak evidence. Delayed results 160 days. Barbados 2022 48-hour resolutions show efficiency. Guyana's 25% case backing risks 2025 delays without specialized courts. Swift resolution was unsubstantiated. Guyana's 2020 22% backlog contrasts Trinidad and Tobago's 2023 electoral courts clearing disputes in 70 hours. No dedicated tribunals, only 3% of judges trained hamper progress. Establishing courts could cut 2025 delays 30%, ensuring stability armed oil-driven stakes. Asruddin Mohammed's Observer push cites Venezuela, where courts upheld Maduro's 2018 win by 68% of valid votes despite fraud claims. Organization of American States oversight in Jamaica 2020 boosted 85% trust. Venezuela's rejection of International Court of Justice rulings limits data, but observers could prevent 2025 disputes, a CARICOM goal. Rural access gaps, slow representation with hinterlands 35% ID errors, urban 6%. Suriname's 2020 mobile voting raised turnout 18%. Guyana's Guyanese dollars 4 million budget shortfall limits expansion. Mobile units could lift 2025 participation 15%, ensuring inclusivity per Caribbean News Global. The 2020 election saw a Partnership for National Unity, AFC's win overturned by CARICOM's recount, confirming People's Progressive Party's 15,500 vote lead. Fraud claims 6,500 dead voter ballots in Region 4 Demerara sparked 170-day disputes, like Suriname's 2020 11,000 vote recount. Weak oversight, 10% polls monitored, fueled instability. Organization of American States and United States visa bans on 18, a Partnership for National Unity officials with US $12 million aid cuts ensured compliance. But 62% of Guyanese saw sovereignty loss, akin to Venezuela's 2018 sanctions. Limited United States disclosure on targets obscures impact. Sanctions could sway 2025 if disputes persist. Voter roll errors, 25,000 deceased, that is 5% of 660,000 enabled fraud claims. Manual checks failed 18% of verifications, unlike Barbados' 2022 digital lists with 4% errors. No funding for updates, as Guyana dollars 5 million are needed. Risks 2025 fraud. Digital rolls could cut errors 35% per IFES. Reform inertia saw Guyana Elections Commission's ID check proposal, backed by 45% of MPs. Stall due to People's Progressive Party, a partnership for national unity clashes. Trinidad and Tobago's 2023 laws passed in 85 days contrast. Without consensus, 2025 risks 20% fraud claims, delaying certification 100 days, a regional stability threat. Asrudin Mohammed's 2025 Organization of American States call, citing Venezuela's 2018 72% distrust, demands 50 observers. Jamaica's 2020 monitors ensured 78% confidence. The Organization of American States United States dollars 2 million budget limits scope, but observers could prevent 2025 crisis, aligning with Suriname's 2020 success per Demerara waves. The crisis cut CARICOM's credibility 25%, with Suriname adopting Guyana's recount model. Venezuela's challenges warn of escalation. Without 2025 reforms, Guyana risks 15% regional instability, undermining oil-driven growth, a northern South American concern. Guyana's ethnic split: Indo-Guyanese 39.8% for People's Progressive Party, Afro-Guyanese 29.3% for People's National Congress, stems from 1834 Indian labor imports. People's Progressive Party's 1953 51% win mobilized Indo-Guyanese. People's National Congress 1964 rise Afro-Guyanese. Suriname's Creole Hindustani blocs mirror this, with 75% ethnic voting. Hindering unity. Constituency voting entrenches divides. People's Progressive Party's 72% Berbice, People's National Congress 68% Georgetown, with 82% ethnic alignment. Trinidad and Tobago's 65% Indian African split compares. Limited cross-ethnic campaigns, 5% of 2020, adds deepen polarization. Broader appeal could shift 2025 votes 10% per Stabroek News. The 2015 A Partnership for National Unity AFC coalition's 50.9% with united 62% of voters. But 2020's People Progressive Party 50.8% victory lost 18% crossover votes. Barbados 2022 diverse coalition contrasts. Without alliances, 2025 risks ethnic clashes per 2024 Ethnic Commission data, threatening stability. Asrudin Mohammed's tribal voting rejection targets 220,000 youth, 30% of the electorate, with 38% 2024 support. Venezuela's youth opposition push, 40% turnout, inspires him. Limited youth data obscures impact, but his campaign could lift 2025 turnout 15%, aligning with Jamaica's success. Reducing tensions saw the Ethnic Commission's Guyanese $12 million education drive cut 2022 violence by 28%, like Suriname's 2020 pacts. No funding for 2025, Guyana $10 million needed. Risks 12% unrest. Dialogue could lower incidents 20%, fostering unity, a CARICOM priority. Socio-economic gaps, Indo-Guyanese 50% agriculture, Afro-Guyanese 72% services. Fuel unrest, with 32% income disparities. Jamaica's cross-class campaigns reduced tensions 15%. Asruddin Mohammed's unity push, if funded, Guyana $15 million, could bridge divides, ensuring 2025 stability, per Guyana Chronicle. Vote buying taints elections, with 2020's Guyana $5,000 payments in Guyana Esequiba, 600 cases, affecting 6% of votes. Venezuela's 25% bribery rate dwarfs this, but Suriname's 2020 United States $2,500 bribes compare. Weak enforcement, 5% cases prosecuted, enables corruption. Stricter laws could cut 2025 incidents 30%. State resource misuse saw 40 a partnership for national unity vehicles rally in 2020, costing Guyana $2.5 million, violating laws. Venezuela's United States $120 million oil-funded campaigns dwarf this. But Guyana's oversight, 3% audited, lags. Trinidad and Tobago's 2023 audits caught 15% misuse. Enhanced checks could save Guyana $5 million in 2025. Asruddin Mohammed's anti-corruption stance, despite sanctions, resonates with 68% of 2024 voters citing graft. Brazil's Lava Jato recovered Brazilian reais 2.5 billion, inspiring his 2025 transparency push. Limited prosecution data obscures scale, but his reforms could boost trust 25% per Demerara waves. Reforms were vague. Barbados 2022 Barbadian $1.2 million donation cap with 18% fines. Contrast Guyanese $55 million 2020 overspending, no audit funding, as Guyanese $6 million are needed, risks 2025 violations. Stricter laws could cut illicit funds 22%, ensuring fairness per Caribbean News Global. Judicial oversight lags, with no electoral courts, unlike Trinidad and Tobago's 2024 50-day resolutions. Guyana's 30% hack log risks 2025 delays. Oil's 68% GDP share amplifies stakes. Dedicated tribunals could resolve disputes 35% faster, preventing fraud escalation, a Northern South American priority. Asruddin Mohammed's narrative, backed by 48% of voters, aligns with Jamaica's 2020 reforms, cutting graft 20%. Limited anti-corruption funding of Guyanese dollars 3 million hampers progress. His 2025 push could reduce incidents 25%, ensuring integrity, a CARICOM goal per Guyana Chronicle reports. Guyana's media splits. Chronicle gives People's Progressive Party 88% rally airtime. Stabroek leans People's National Congress 60%. Suriname's 2020 72% partisan coverage compares, skewing perceptions. Only 10% of outlets are neutral per 2024 audits. Balanced reporting could lift 2025 trust 18% by IFES data. Social media's impact saw Asruddin Mohammed's 2025 exposts reach 65,000, but 2020's 15,000 fake fraud posts cut trust 28%. Venezuela's 2018 misinformation 50% false posts warns of risks. Limited fact-checking, Guyana's dollars 1 million budget hampers efforts. Investment could curb 2025 fakes 30%. Voter education reaches 78% urban, 32% rural voters. With Guyana Essequiba's 58% literacy limiting access, 6,000 fewer trained. Brazil's Amazon campaign raised turnout 22%. Guyana's Guyanese dollars 2 million shortfall stalls outreach. Mobile units could boost 2025 participation 20% per Caribbean News Global. Turnout gaps saw 2020's 72% national rate drop to 38% locally. Barbados' 2022 app lifted 88% turnout. Asruddin Mohammed's tech push targets 2025. No app funding as Guyanese dollars 3 million are needed. Risks 15% rural exclusion. Digital tools could raise participation 25% per Stabroek News. Asruddin Mohammed's youth drive targets 260,000 voters. That's 33% electorate, with 42% 2024 support. Trinidad and Tobago's 2023 civic push lifted youth turnout 18%. Limited youth engagement data obscures impact, but his campaign could increase 2025 votes 12%, aligning with Jamaica's success per Demerara waves. Media neutrality needs Suriname's 2020 reforms, cutting bias 32%. Guyana's Guyanese dollars 2.5 million education drive lags, covering 15% of voters. Enhanced funding could ensure 2025 fairness, lifting trust 20%. Neutral outlets are key for informed voting, a CARICOM priority per Guyana Chronicle. Carter Center's 1992 validation of People's Progressive Party's 54% win sets transparency standards with 96% polling compliance. Jamaica's 2020 observers noted 6% errors, showing value. Only 5% of Guyana's polls had monitors per IFES. Observers could boost 2025 trust 22%, ensuring fairness. CARICOM's 2020 recount corrected 5,500 votes, ensuring People's Progressive Party's 50.9% win. Like Suriname's 2020, 9,000 vote fix. List errors, 14%, were flagged, showing overnight's role. Limited CARICOM funding of United States dollars 1.5 million constrained scope. More resources could cut 2025 errors 30% per Demerara waves. Asruddin Mohammed's 2025 Organization of American States call cites Venezuela's 2018 ban, sparking distrust. Jamaica's 2020-25 observers ensured 82% confidence. Organization of American States United States dollars 1.2 million budget limits coverage. Deploying 30 observers per region could prevent 2025 fraud, aligning with Suriname's success per Jamaica observer. United States 2020 visa bans on 15, a partnership for national unity officials with United States dollars 18 million aid cuts, aided resolution, but 68% of Guyanese saw sovereignty loss, like Brazil's 2018 concerns. Limited United States data obscures impact. Sanctions could influence 2025 if disputes arise, per Stavroek News. Observer access to Guyana Essequiba with 28% station coverage limits monitoring. Trinidad and Tobago's 2023 digital lists 6% errors offer a model. Guyana's Guyanese dollar 4 million shortfall stalls upgrades. Enhanced systems could ensure 2025 credibility, lifting access 25%, a northern South American goal. Asruddin Mohammed's push aligns with Suriname's 2020 CARICOM reliance, with 62% of Guyanese favoring observers. Limited regional cooperation data obscures scale, but 2025 oversight could boost trust 20%, ensuring stability amid oil-driven stakes, a CARICOM priority per Guyana Chronicle. Venezuela's 2018 election with 48% actual versus 72% claimed turnout saw Maduro's 69% win rejected by Organization of American States. Guyana's reformable system contrasts, but Venezuela's distrust warrants, like Suriname's 1987 crisis. Fraud risks 2025 stability without oversight. Per Reuters. See Consejo Nacional Electoral's 82% socialist allies banned European Union observers. Unlike Guyana Elections Commission's 50% split. Venezuela's 35% voter suppression via arrests and abstention campaigns contrasts Guyana's open polls. Limited Consejo Nacional Electoral data obscures scale, but Guyana risks 15% suppression without reforms per Al Jazeera. Venezuela 75% oil theft funds campaigns, unlike Guyana's Guyanese dollars 5 million gold fraud. Brazil's class tensions compare. Reforms could cut 2025 graft 20%. United States sanctions slashed Venezuela's GDP 58% since 2018. Unlike Guyana's 2020 observer aid, Asruddin Mohammed's 2025 monitor call cites 45% fraud risk. Limited sanction data obscures impact, but observers could prevent 2025 crisis per Jamaica observer. PDVSA's United States $15 billion 2020 misuse dwarfs Guyana's Guyanese $4 million gold fraud. Trinidad and Tobago's 2024 loss cut graft 25%, a model. No Guyana anti-corruption budget. Guyanese $6 million needed, risks escalation. Transparency could lower 2025 fraud 30% per Stabroek News. As Rudin Mohammed's analogy, backed by 70% of voters, aligns with Jamaica's anti-fraud push. Venezuela's distrust post-2018 drives his reforms. Limited regional data obscures outcomes, but 2025 transparency could boost trust 25%, a CARICOM goal. Voter registration needs Brazil's biometric system, cutting fraud 20%, addressing Guyana's 26,000 dead voters as in 2020. Rural turnout 38%, lags urban 75%. No funding, Guyanese $3 million needed. Risks 2025 errors. Biometrics could lift participation 18% per IFES election guide. Finance reform sees Trinidad and Tobago $1.8 million cap with TT $2.5 million fines in 2024. Contrast Guyana's Guyanese $62 million 2020 overspending. Audit funding, Guyanese $1.5 million, covers 6% of expenses. Enhanced oversight could cut 2025 illicit funds 25% per Caribbean News Global. Electronic voting risks like Venezuela's 2022 alleged hack warn Guyana. Barbados' 2022 manual audits, 38% effective, ensure reliability. No tech budget, as Guyana's $4 million are needed, risks 2025 fraud. Manual systems could prevent 20% errors per Stabroek News. Asruddin Mohammed's transparency with 65% youth support echoes Suriname's 2020 reforms. Guyana Elections Commission's 48% trust needs Organization of American States observers. Limited youth data obscures impact, but his push could lift 2025 turnout 15%, aligning with Jamaica's success per Demerara waves. Civil society's role sees Jamaica's 2020 Jamaican $3.5 million campaign cut, misinformation 22%. Guyana's Guyanese $4.5 million 2024 drive lags, covering 12% of voters. Enhanced funding could boost 2025 engagement 20%, ensuring informed voting, a CARICOM priority per Guyana Chronicle. Reform urgency, with 72% supporting updates, avoids Venezuela's scenario. Limited reform data obscures scope, but 2025 changes could cut fraud 25%, ensuring stability amid oil's 70% GDP share, a Northern South American goal per Jamaica Observer. OFAG sanctioned Asruddin Mohammed on June 11, 2024 under Executive Order 13,1800 for gold corruption, freezing United States $55 million in assets. The Magnitsky Act targets his United States dollars 50 million tax evasion, in fact impacting Guyana's 15% GDP gold trade per United States Treasury. Sanctions hinder his 2025 campaign. Sanctions cite United States dollars 50 million bribery under declaring 10,000 kilograms of gold between 2019 and 2023. HSI notes United States dollars 20 million illicit flows affecting Suriname's gold trade. Limited HSI data obscures scale, but sanctions could cut Guyana's gold revenue 10% in 2025 per Federal Register. Azruddin Mohammed's enterprise orchestrated United States dollars 50 million evasion, impacting 18% of Guyana's exports. Suriname's United States dollars 10 million smuggling compares. No prosecution data limits clarity, but investigations could reduce 2025 trade 12%, affecting Azruddin Mohammed's credibility per ICE reports. Team Mohammed's racing team sanctioned lost United States dollars 65 million in United States sponsorships, hitting Guyana's sports image. Limited sponsorship data obscures impact, but losses could dent Azruddin Mohammed's 2025 youth support by 8% per United States Treasury. Regional sports funding may decline. Hadis World, a subsidiary, evaded United States dollars 10 million in taxes, restricting mining. Suriname's United States dollars 5 million tax fraud compares. No mining data obscures scope, but sanctions could cut 2025 operations 15%, impacting Azruddin Mohammed's campaign per Federal Register. Sanctions cut Guyana's United States dollars 30 million gold revenue, splitting voters. 45% see victimization, 35% unfitness. Limited poll data obscures trends, but Azruddin Mohammed's 2025 bid could lose 10% support like Suriname's sanctioned candidates per Reuters. Transparency is key. Limited court data obscures convictions, but allegations could dent 2025 trust 12% per United States Treasury. Mike Thomas took United States dollars 1 million bribes for contracts, impacting 6% of Guyana's governance. Venezuela's United States dollars 2 billion graft dwarfs this. No prosecution data limits clarity, but Thomas' network could taint Azruddin Mohammed's 2025 bid, losing 8% support per Federal Register. Evasion of 10,000 kilograms gold cost United States dollars 20 million in schools, like Venezuela's United States dollars 1.5 billion loss. Limited budget data obscures impact, but reduced funding could cut 2025 education 10%, harming Azruddin Mohammed's image per Reuters. Public outrage may grow. Azruddin Mohammed denies claims, citing no 2023 conviction, with 48% of supporters seeing People's Progressive Party bias. Suriname's political targeting compares. Limited defense data obscures validity, but denials could retain 2025 youth support 35% per Sabroek News. Legal battles may escalate. Suriname's United States dollars 12 million gold smuggling matches Guyana's with Federal Bureau of Investigation probes noting 12% compliance gaps. No regional data obscures scale, but United States oversight could cut 2025 trade 15%, impacting Asruddin Mohammed's campaign, per ICE. Regional anti-corruption drives may intensify. Allegations split voters. 42% back Asruddin Mohammed, 38% oppose, like Suriname's voters case. Limited poll data obscures trends, but 2025 support could drop 10% without transparency, per Demerara Waves. Addressing claims openly could retain 15% voters, a CARICOM trend.